most success is a function of mindset, whether it's in real estate or any other business, or just in life. You can't have a victim mentality. You can't get down. You just have to press through and take the punches as they come and roll with them and keep your head down and keep working.
Your network is your net worth. Come listen to some of the most successful people I know share invaluable knowledge, stories, and advice in real estate, business, and beyond. This is Weiss Advice. Whether you want to take your business or personal life to the next level, look no further. Welcome back to Weiss Advice. I'm your host, Yona Weiss. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode and coming in to listen to this. I'm really excited to speak to Mike Vann, who's joining me here today, all the way from Kansas City, right? Springfield.
Close enough. Springfield. We're just south of Kansas City, so close enough.
No offense, right? I mean,
no one really knows where Springfield is anyway, so Kansas City is the next best thing.
The next best thing. So just a little bit of background on Mike. Mike's been in the real estate business. After being in other businesses for many years, he went, back into real estate about 20 years, building a portfolio, which now he's syndicating and has become a GP, currently owning over 1,000 units. So he's really been involved in the real estate space, but also coming from other business backgrounds as well. So I think that's wonderful because what I've seen, Mike, a lot of people that get into syndication, they come first from some other sort of successful business ventures, right? People don't start off necessarily their whole entire real estate career as a syndicator, right? You usually start off with some success in, another business. So tell me a little bit about that transition from whatever business you were doing to move into syndication.
Right. Well, so I, started off I've always been entrepreneurial, right? I've always had my own little businesses from when I was a little kid, pushing my mower around the neighborhood, whatever it was. I always had my own little side hustle, so to speak. So after college, I got into medical sales and in the pharmaceutical industry. And so in that business, there's often restructuring and layoffs and things like that. And one night I was sitting there late night, whatever, see the late night infomercial, Carlton Sheets, the whole thing, real estate's going to make you rich and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, sure, I'll buy the course. And, like a lot of people do, don't take any action, just set it on the shelf. And so a year or so goes by and, we get one of those phone calls or one of those emails rather saying, stay by the phone and we're going to go through some restructuring and stay by the phone this day and we'll see if you make it through. And so I made it through the first time. And at that point decided it was time to not rely on corporate America and rely more on myself to have a backup plan. So dusted off the course, went driving for dollars and started off with, getting this duplex was my very first property. And then, graduated on up and over the years, doing some fix and flips and small multifamily and smaller apartments and so forth. And, throughout that time period, made it through a few more of those phone calls. But each time that I did have one of those phone calls and successfully made it through, I worried less and less because I had a backup plan. And with, the longer time went on, the more property I accumulated, the less I was concerned about what would happen after that.
Right. Absolutely. And, it is really a blessing to have that backup plan and to have that education that even allows you to come to that, realization that you need a backup plan and you need to have some sort of security to move into that. But, one thing that I've found, and, I've been discussing this with many, many people that are in the real estate world, specifically multifamily and syndication, real estate, if you don't really know it and you don't get into multifamily specifically, then real estate has, for a lot of people, kind of like a bad name to it. You have like these slumlords and these people that they don't take care of it. And you're kind of, obviously you're not a slumlord, right?
Right.
You're providing places for people to live. and you're also giving back to those communities by bettering them.
Absolutely.
Are all of your properties in the Missouri area, or do you branch out to other?
No, I'm from Arkansas. I grew up, born and raised in Arkansas, and then moved to Missouri about 16 years ago. And so my personal properties are in both of those states. And then when we started syndicating, have properties in Kansas, Oklahoma, and DFW are where the majority of those properties are located.
Good stuff. And so are you finding any difficulty during this time, or are you in a more expansive mode, even though the economy has been hit hard and jobs have taken a toll? But are you guys still looking at deals, still trying to find deals, expanding?
Yeah, absolutely. Around the uncertainty that was occurring, people were speculating, oh, this is going to be another 2008. There's going to be, rock bottom prices and wholesale deals everywhere. And there may be at some point in the future, but at this point, prices haven't really started to soften at all from what I've seen. Sellers are still, sticking to the price, and some have pulled back off the market. They were going to wait to sell. But we're still pursuing, and we were blessed to have really not missed a beat from a rent collection standpoint. We actually improved occupancy, over the last couple of months, and like I said, I've been really blessed to have made it through, and hopefully now that we're starting to see some recovery, that will continue on. And so
what do you think that was? What do you think was due to that? The fact that you guys had not had a problem with rent collections. What do you think they made, helped you guys achieve that?
As soon as we saw this was coming, we got out ahead of it and reached out to our residents and let them know, we have resources in place for your safety and health. We want to provide you information as far as resources for your well-being in regards to, the stimulus dollars that were available for them. And so we also put programs in place to incentivize them to pay their rent first and foremost.
Like what?
We put little raffles in place things like that. If they, on time rent would be entered for a gift card giveaway. Prepayment would be entered for a gift card giveaway. So, it was just a little token that really went a long way as far as getting people incentivized to pay their rent, catch up on old bad debt, and also prepay their rent. And one of the things that will really be the true test is once the stimulus checks have run out and the extra unemployment insurance or unemployment payments, the $600 a week extra, runs out. July and August will really be the true test of where we are, I think, in regards to, the well-being of our properties and our residents from a financial standpoint.
Absolutely. Now, what would you say? You've had experience sounds like in single families, in small multifamily, in large multifamily, syndication, and passive investing. You kind of have run a big spectrum of the real estate game. What do you think is for someone like yourself, who that now you looking back on, doing this for a number of years, someone who's in your position, maybe someone who's listening to this and they have a full-time job and they're thinking of getting into real estate. What do you think is the easiest barrier to entry or the best, entry point for someone like that?
As far as with no real estate background at all?
Yeah, nothing.
That would be passive investing. Honestly, I still have a full-time job, and the fact that my personal portfolio, I couldn't do that without a fantastic property manager. In the syndication aspect, I couldn't do that without my phenomenal partners that I have. But from a standpoint of someone who's just looking at, knows real estate is a good investment, but has no idea or the time of how to learn or get into it themselves, passive investing is by far the best way. You still need to educate yourself on how to underwrite a deal so you can know that the sponsors you're teaming up with are actually underwriting to conservative standards, what their assumptions that they're using are, and know how to, vet a sponsor, so to speak. So you want to know, we like our investors to be educated on what they're getting into, the risks, the downsides as well as the upsides.
Oh, that's great advice, because anyone can really invest passively in a real estate deal. I mean, pretty much. There may be some limitations if you know the sponsors or not, to whether you're an accredited investor or not, or sophisticated investor. But nevertheless, regardless, if you have some extra savings, you can definitely put that to work. And real estate investing, like we talk about a lot, is probably one of the best investment vehicles there is, because it has that security that a lot of other the volatility of the stock market does not have. And it also has tax benefits that come along with it that other types of investment vehicles don't have as well. So you have a lot of advantages going forward. So
absolutely,
that's a great idea. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit here, if you don't mind, Mike.
Sure.
You're obviously working with partners in your syndication, and you guys are buying large multifamily deals. And this is some question I get asked a lot. When finding partners, how do you find the right partners for a deal? For not a deal, but for a business venture, right? You're looking for like-minded people. You're looking for people that are totally different, people that have different skill sets. Like, what was the magic combination between you and your two partners?
Honestly, partnership's like a marriage. I mean, you have to be really, really certain before you say I do that you're going to stay with these people forever. And, there's never 100%. But what I did, and, how I met my partners, to back up a little bit, is you can meet people through these industry networking events. I actually met my two partners in a apartment syndication mentorship program. And the reason I joined the program is to not necessarily learn the fundamentals of real estate, but actually learn the fundamentals of syndication, the legal aspects of it, some of the asset management aspects of managing larger, properties. Stewarding other people's funds is, it's a big responsibility. So I wanted to go where people were doing what I wanted to do and were at a high level of success in doing it. And so through that program, I met several operators who where I wanted to be. And, we did these partnerships initially. Everybody came into it as their own, LLC. So it's a partnership, but we were all separate little entities going into it, and did a few deals that way with two different partnership groups. I did 3 deals that way with 2 different partnership groups. And then, I met Carl Supercrop, who is my partner out of Dallas, and Rodney Miller, a partner out of Oklahoma City. Met them, when I first joined the program, and we'd all done deals with other groups, and we decided we wanted to start doing deals together because we really just got along well, So our first deal we did together, we did it just like the other ones. We came in separately under our separate LLCs and did the deal together, just to see how we worked together, as a team. Because you get sitting around having a beer is one thing, and you can be like-minded and thinking everything's going to go well, but until you get into the pressures of a deal, raising millions of dollars, all the timelines, all the things that have to be accomplished on a time frame, working under that stress really lets you know if you're in with the right people. And so we did that first deal together, and it was pretty much seamless. We worked very well together, had a lot of great synergies, and held each other accountable, and did that in a manner that was where we worked well. I mean, we held each other accountable, but we did that in a manner that was very friendly. And so after that deal was done, we decided to formalize our partnership and create Trident Multifamily, and started pursuing deals under that brand, and closed another deal last year under the Trident Multifamily banner, and pursuing deals this year as well.
Amazing. So what is Trident? What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Trident, well, the power of 3. There's 3 partners, first of all. 3 is kind of a magical number in the Bible, and the Trinity and so forth. That was kind of the premise behind it, was just the power of 3, really. And I really like the logo.
That's great. It's important to stand behind your brand, and appreciate what you guys have and go for you. So yeah, I love that. I love, in the world, we have a tradition. The world stands on three things, and just like a stool, right? A chair can't stand on 2 feet. You have to have 3 feet for it to truly stand upon. So that's really the power of partnership, where you have three people kind of coming together and making something happen that you couldn't have, like you said, the synergies that you couldn't have done otherwise.
Absolutely. You can definitely go further together.
Definitely go further together. Awesome. I appreciate that. So I think we're going to, without further ado, let's just jump into the final four, because I think we're going to maybe go a little deep on some of these questions. I have a feeling, Mike. So what's the worst job that you ever had?
The worst job I ever had? Probably digging ditches. My family had a construction company when I was growing up, and worked a lot of summers there. And, you start out at the bottom, digging ditches and picking up trash. And, it was a hard job, but it wasn't glamorous by any means. But, I learned to enjoy the value of hard work, and learned a lot about construction and project management, and, which helped me a lot in the real estate business that I'm in today. But yeah, I'd say as far as the worst part, that was probably
it may have been, challenging, but you still learned something from it, right? So
absolutely. I mean, I look at, no matter what job you're doing, you do it with your best effort, your full heart, and you look to learn a lesson from it, regardless of what it is. There's always a lesson to be learned.
Mm-hmm. And it's easy just to kind of jump out and cop out and say, I'm not doing this. Move on quickly. But if you're in it, try to take advantage of it and use it as a learning experience.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we've all, and everyone can relate to that we've been in situations where have been less than ideal. But
yes.
It's about what you're learning from it and how you can make the best out of the situation. It sounds like you made turn ditches into
ditches into riches, baby.
Into riches. Love that. That's awesome. If I had Twitter, I'd probably tweet that, but I don't, so I won't. The second question is, what's a book you've read that has given you a paradigm shift?
I'm sure everyone says The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that was, the initial book that I read that made me change the way I thought about money and income and where I wanted to be in that quadrant, So that definitely was the first. Think and Grow Rich is another phenomenal book that I reread every year. And you just get Napoleon Hill. I mean, he's timeless, So I would say those two are probably the most profound, fundamental books that you need to read.
Absolutely. No, excellent books, both of them. And I agree with you. I think, a lot of people on the show have given similar answers or the same answers because, ultimately the power that is written in these books, the concepts are just incredible. And like you said, timeless. And, without them, I think a lot of people would not be where they are. Absolutely.
I mean, most success is a function of mindset, whether it's in real estate or any other business, or just in life. You can't have a victim mentality. You can't get down. You just have to press through, and take the punches as they come and roll with them and keep your head down and keep working.
Sure. And what I love about Think, Grow Rich the most, and this is something that I believed even before I first read that book, is that just the power of, thought of not just your mindset, but, the power of actually actively thinking about how outcomes of events, how things are going to be done. And, it really does. I literally today, I just had this experience. I was thinking about someone, okay? I was thinking about a specific person that I had been in touch with over a year ago, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, who I hadn't heard from at all. But I was thinking about him. And literally, with that power of thought, I was like, should I send him an email? Should I not? Should I just... And through that, literally, my assistant had sent me, some information. Sometimes he pulls off from places where people were closing deals, so we'll get some information, who to reach back out to. And literally he sends me this guy's, close on a deal recently. I was like, wow, that's incredible. I mean, just, you can call it coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason.
Right.
Everything happens as a result of, what we do and what we think and what we say. So that was just an incredible experience that just happened to me literally today. So
you make your own luck.
Yeah, exactly. So there's definitely a lot of truth to that book and to the concepts that are in it. So I appreciate you bringing that up. So we're up to number 3, which is, what is a skill or talent that you would like to learn?
A skill or talent that I would like to learn is probably to learn how to be still and, truly have time to reflect and introspect, so to speak. The few times that I have been able to do that, which is not very often, you can learn a lot about yourself and get answers to a lot of questions. And so I would like to perfect that more, be more intentional about it, probably. I mean, really, you can do anything you want to do or make time for anything you want to do if you just prioritize it. People always say, I'm too busy to exercise, I'm too busy to do this or that, but you're not too busy to do what is really important to you. So it's all about priorities.
It's about priorities, making time.
But I think I would definitely like to learn that skill better.
That's a very good skill to have, because, that's where the Think and Grow Rich is really all about, being still.
Absolutely.
And making that time to really sit down and think about that. It's something that I do every day. And, just from a religious perspective, it's like a meditation and, kind of prayer, which allows us to do that and introspect. And I truly see the power of it. So
during the quarantine, I had a lot of time to do that. And I have gotten in a habit of doing that over the past, couple of months. But as we started to loosen back up and get more, busy again, I've had to be more intentional about carving out that time, and whether it's getting up a little earlier or staying up a little later, but truly making that time to reflect
and turn off the distractions is really what it's all about, which is very difficult. I mean, to be honest, it's very difficult in our day and age, especially if your phone and it's beeping, and it's very difficult to take that time to be still and to reflect and to go, ponder. But the power of doing that, literally, I call it like transcendental. And what that means to me is just, it literally takes you above and outside of yourself.
Right.
And being outside of yourself is really the only way to connect to a higher being, connect to God anyways, because when you're in the way, right, you're not making yourself, you're kind of blocking that. But when you can kind of get outside yourself, and the only way to really do that is really to turn off the distractions and to kind of think about that and ponder and let your mind kind of go and think about the beauty and the wondrousness, wonderfulness of this world. I mean, just look at the creation. Look at a tree. Look at a plant.
Yes.
And don't just look at it once. Like, actually look at a flower and stare at it for a few minutes and ponder the wondrousness of that creation and the creator.
It is truly amazing that if you do take the time to just look at a tree or a flower or a bird or any living thing and just ponder the wonder of creation. Yeah. And that feeling of gratitude you have that washes over you for not only that life, but your own life and all the blessings that you have. It's a great way to start the day. For sure.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Well, thank you for that. And our fourth question, Mike, is, what does success mean to you?
It's funny. When I was young, success meant monetary success. I grew up with a single mom. We were poor and didn't know my dad. And so, I was in a neighborhood or went to schools where, there were both sides of the tracks there, so to speak. And honestly, I had a lot of friends who were from well-to-do families. And so I saw their intact family and, the things that they had, the house they lived in, the vacations they went on. And, I said, I want that. I will have that. And so early on in my career, success was monetary. But as I achieved that and still felt the emptiness inside. Success has been more about giving back. And so, when you find time to do mission work, and giving back is not just writing a check.
Right.
Giving back is truly giving of yourself. And so, we are involved in the local homeless community here as far as giving back that way through volunteering, volunteer at church. I started a ministry called the Helping Hands Ministry, where we help, single moms and old folks do repairs around their house and things like that. And then also I've done some international mission work as well. But truly, the feeling you get whenever you see the look on their face, you can't describe it. It fills that hole in the heart that nothing else can.
Absolutely. So I appreciate that, Mike. It's beautiful. I think I agree on a lot of these points. It's always nice to, kind of like see how other people see things and see how we're so similar in a lot of ways. And, that's kind of what the like-mindedness of people is. So that's beautiful. Where can people find you or reach out to you?
Well, you can go to our website at tridentmultifamily.com. Give me an email, mike@tridentmultifamily.com. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook. Shoot, give me a call, 417-576-8850. I love to help people out, talk about real estate or life in general.
Amazing. Thank you again, Mike. I appreciate your time today with us, and we've learned a lot, and I really hope we can do this again soon. And
absolutely. I appreciate you having me on the show, Yana. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us once again. This has been an incredible session today, and I look forward to you coming back another time. And remember, the best advice comes only when you ask. Real quick, I have one question for you. Did you like this episode? If you did, I want to ask you a huge favor. See, the biggest thing that helps this podcast grow and that will spread this message to the whole world is that if you leave a review, a rating, and subscribe to the podcast. What that does is it basically tells the platforms that this podcast is out on is that you like my stuff and I'm doing something right. So take a few seconds out of your day, hit that subscribe button, leave a rating or review. I would be extremely grateful. Also, I want to hear from you guys. So I want to hear some feedback. If you have any questions for future episodes, please find me on LinkedIn. Send me a DM, a connection request, Yona Weiss, and I'd love to hear from you.